my name is Em, and this is going to be my first video on this channel, first of many I hope, talking about books. These are some books that I've rated 5 stars, or, well, books that I wish I could have rated more than 5 stars. I would like to begin with what I think to be the most underrated book on this list, Boys in the Valley by Philip Fracassi. This was only published last year in the summer of 2023, and it is just a fantastic read. It follows Peter Barlow, an orphaned boy who is sent to live in a Catholic orphanage after the death of his parents, set in 1905, when one day a man was brought to the priests of the orphanage who is possessed and seeking help. It does not go well, and it takes you on a really suspenseful, demonic journey. So if those are some of the genres that you enjoy, then I highly recommend this. I don't see people talk about Philip Fracassi enough, and his books are just spectacular. He has such a way with words and a way of making you feel such dread as you read it, and I really do recommend picking this up and reading it when you can. The next book I'd like to talk about is How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. I may be a little bit biased when I talk about this one, considering that it's my favourite book ever, as well as Matt Haig being one of my top authors of all time. This book was released in 2017, and I read it for the first time in 2018 when I was 15. I'm just a few weeks away from being 21, for a bit of context. So this story follows Tom Hazard. Tom has a rare condition that makes it so that he does not age at the same rate as the average human, therefore allowing him to live for centuries. It is a beautiful, adventurous novel and a love story across all ages. It's a story about finding yourself, the inevitability of change, and how, with enough time, we just might find happiness. This book it's such a comfort for me. I've read this at some point pretty much every year since 2018, I suppose. It's so comfortable and it's so cozy, and it just makes me feel so seen every time I read it. There's a quote on the back from Neil Gaiman, and it says, "Matt Haig has an empathy for the human condition, the light and the dark of it, and he uses the full palette to build his excellent stories," which I think is as true as can be. Matt Haig is known for his struggles with mental health, and the way he incorporates that into his books is just truly wonderful. He has a lot of other fantastic books as well. The Humans, The Radleys, The Midnight Library, which has become quite popular, especially on Book Talk recently. But I truly think this book is extremely underrated. I don't know if it's because I read it before. I read The Humans first, and then I read this, and this just changed the course of my brain for a very long time. I recommend it to everybody I meet, and yeah, I'm recommending it to you too if you haven't read it yet. Speaking of the passing of time and unaging beings, I'd like to talk about The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I thought this book was beautiful. I read this for the first time last year, and I loved it so much. I think one of the reasons I adored it so much was because it reminds me so much of How to Stop Time. If you've read both of those books, then you might see what I mean. Like, the story is different, but it has very similar themes, I guess. This book follows Addie LaRue, a young French woman who ultimately makes a deal with the devil. After a desperate bargain with the dark, Addie makes a deal to become immortal, but she is cursed to be forgotten by all those that meet her. She spends centuries with herself, existing as a muse for artists, and falling in love every single day. It explores themes of memory, love, loneliness, and the significance of a single life. Like I said, I thought this book was beautiful, and I know that there's a lot of people, especially on Book Talk, that really didn't enjoy it. which, you know, each to their own. I don't judge people based on the books they read. Lies. Each to their own. I thought it was fantastic. Another quote from Neil Gaiman, he gets a round up by the looks of it. For some damned to be forgettable, Addie LaRue is a most delightfully unforgettable character, and her story is the most joyous evocation of unlikely immortality. I really enjoyed this. The way it's written so beautifully, and it makes you feel like you're there experiencing this incredible passing of time with Addie. It travels all the way from 1714 to the present day, so as you can imagine, a lot takes place with, you know, it's quite a few pages. I definitely recommend this, especially on the days when you need a little more assurance that you aren't alone in the world. It is a truly beautiful book, and I really liked it. It's the first book I read by V.E. Schwab, and I think what a beautiful gateway into her other books, if that makes sense. Kicking off number 4 with The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I don't even know where to begin with this one. First of all, I quite frankly don't care if it makes me pretentious in any way. This is probably one of, if not the best book that I've ever read in my life. I guarantee you've heard of this book before, if not read it. It's absolutely spectacular. Donna Tartt has such a way with words. The Secret History takes place in Hampden College, a New England establishment that follows Richard Papin and his desperate need to belong somewhere as he joins the secluded and isolated ancient Greek class in the college. It is there that he meets a group of elite, pretentious students who harbour secrets of their own. On the first page of the book, you are told that these members will somehow end up murdering another one of the members of the group. And the book tells you the story of how this would come to be, with a greater message of the dangers of the picturesque life and how a morbid longing for such will not result in anything good. I could talk about this book for years without stopping. I wish that was an exaggeration, but it is truly not. I read this book, and to say that it changed my life and the way I view the world and things and other books and other people is the most understatement thing ever. I quote this book every single day, and I guarantee if you mention this book to any of my friends, I'm the first person that they think of when you talk to them about it. I think it's fantastic, and I have never hated and at the same time adored a group of characters the way I did when I read this. Not a single day has gone by where I haven't thought about this book, and it just lives in my head constantly. It's no secret that pretty much Donna Tartt is pretty much responsible for the birth of dark academia and the aesthetic of that, which is pretty ironic considering her message in The Secret History, how taking part in things simply just for the aesthetic is a bad idea and a dangerous way to live. But yes, I know that this book is sometimes considered to be like, I guess, Marmite, you either love it or you hate it. Very similar as well to If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I personally wasn't the biggest fan of that book, but I truly think that if I had read it before reading The Secret History, then I probably would have enjoyed it more. I will talk about that in another video though. These books are, of course, just a small selection of my reads and my 5-star rated reads. I thought, considering this would be my first video, I'd like to keep it somewhat short and easy. I didn't want to overwhelm myself with writing scripts and choosing books to talk about. But yes, thank you very much for watching. In my next video, I'd really like to go through my collection of Penguin classics, so if you watched this video and enjoyed it and that's something you'd like to see, please let me know. Please also comment down below what you thought of these books if you've read any of them, and if you can recommend any that are similar to any of these. Whilst I'm here, I'd like to talk about the book that I'm currently reading, which is I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. I'm not very far in this book, as you can see. I'm about 29 pages in. It's really good so far. I can see why it has the hype that it does, and I'm sure that it continues to be fantastic all throughout, but by the time my next video is up, I should have finished it, and I will talk about it there. So thank you very much for watching. I will link all my social medias down below, and yeah, thank you very much for being here. Bye.